To be a disciple, one must carry his cross and come after me. And so there are two parts to that call of being a disciple. To take up our cross. Notice that Jesus doesn't say just carry your burdens, but he uses that word cross specifically, intentionally, in some way to alert the disciple that the sufferings, the burdens, the hardships that they have in their lives, the sufferings, are joined to the redeeming work of Christ that he won on his cross. To identify the burdens that we have and the hardships as a cross, much like the cross that Jesus died on. And so the message is clear. Whenever we look upon our sufferings only for ourselves, we miss the opportunity to accept the invitation of Jesus, to join our sufferings, our hardships, our challenges to his redeeming work, won on the cross for the salvation of all humanity. It is a very important part of our Christian spirituality, not just to suffer through life, but to see that the sufferings that we have value because they are joined to the sufferings of Christ and the cross for the redemption of the world. That really can ennoble us, to give us a sense of encouragement in the midst of trials and difficulties, to see that we are part of this sacrifice that Christ makes for all of humanity. That's why at Mass, that invitation by the priest, pray, my brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours will be acceptable to God the Father Almighty, joined to the sacrifice of the Mass. That's so important. But the second part of the phrase is also important. Not only must we take up our cross, but we are to follow Jesus. And that, I think, is sometimes we overlook. Following Jesus means that we go on the same journey he does. And his journey does not end in Calvary. His journey ends with the resurrection. And so it's important for us always to keep in mind that hope of the resurrection that is given to us, to the point where we do not allow the trials and difficulties, the hardships, the challenges that we have in life as so absorbing that they define our life, but rather to see that everything else in life is relative to what God promises us for all eternity. That is what is meant by this business of hating your mother and your father, your family and all the rest of it, and giving up all your possessions. It's making sure that we keep strong in our hearts the resurrection that's promised to us, which relativizes everything else. Everything else is secondary compared to that great gift, that hope that is ours. And so today, as we hear what it means to become a disciple, it's an opportunity for us to really reflect on the sufferings that we have in life, the challenges, the shortcomings, and see that they have value because they're joined to the work that Christ won for us on the cross. But also to keep into perspective that those challenges will not last forever, but our life in the resurrection will. All the things that we treasure in this life are of little significance compared to life eternal that the Lord will give us. It's not a matter of not respecting other people, not being faithful to our family, not using our resources in a prudent way. No, that's not the message at all. It's to make sure that we don't absolutize them to the point where we live only for this life, not for the life to come. That's why it's so important at Catholic funerals to always pray for those who have died, that they will enjoy the fruits of Christ's redemption on the cross in the resurrection, and not just have a celebration of their past life. It's always forward-looking. It's a realization that the resurrection is a true reality that we will all enjoy. So today, let us walk with Jesus, to be his disciples, to take up our cross and follow him.